Joseph Stalin did not fall in battle. He was not overthrown. He was not executed. He died alone on the floor of his own home. For hours, he lay there after a massive stroke, unable to move or speak, while the men who ruled the Soviet Union were too afraid to enter the room. This was the end of a man responsible for the deaths of millions. But to understand how Joseph Stalin reached that final moment, you have to understand what his power was built on: fear, starvation, and silence. Joseph Stalin was born as Joseph Vissarionis Djugashvili in December 1878 in the town of Gori, in what is now Georgia. At the time, it was part of the Russian Empire. His childhood was violent and unstable. His father was an alcoholic shoemaker who regularly beat his wife and son. His mother, deeply religious, believed her child was destined to become a priest. She sent him to church school and later to a theological seminary. Stalin rejected faith early. He replaced it with ideology. In 1899, he was expelled from the seminary, likely for spreading Marxist ideas. That expulsion marked the beginning of his revolutionary life. In the early 1900s, Stalin joined the Bolsheviks. He organized strikes, printed illegal newspapers, and took part in robberies to fund the movement. He was arrested repeatedly and exiled to Siberia. Unlike other revolutionaries, Stalin was not charismatic. He did not inspire crowds, but he was patient and ruthless. By 1912, he adopted the name Stalin, Man of Steel. He began working closely with Vladimir Lenin and writing for the Bolshevik newspaper Pravda. When the Bolsheviks seized power in 1917, Stalin secured a government role. In 1922, Lenin appointed him General Secretary of the Communist Party, a position seen as administrative and unimportant. Stalin understood something others did not: control the bureaucracy and you control the state. He filled key positions with loyal supporters, gathered information on rivals, and built a web of dependency and fear. Before Lenin died in 1924, he tried to warn the party. In his final writings, he described Stalin as dangerous, rude, and power-hungry, and suggested he be removed. Stalin buried that warning. Then he began eliminating rivals one by one. Leon Trotsky was forced into exile. Zinoviev and Kamenev were humiliated, expelled, and later executed. By the end of the 1920s, Stalin stood alone at the top. Absolute power followed. In 1928, Stalin launched the first 5-year plan. Its goal was to transform the Soviet Union into an industrial superpower. Fast, steel, coal, factories, machines. But industry needed money, and money came from grain. That decision would kill millions. Stalin forced farmers to surrender land, livestock, and tools to the state. Those who resisted were labeled kulaks, enemies of the people. Dekulakization followed. Families were dragged from their homes, men were shot, women and children were deported to labor camps. Entire villages disappeared. The countryside collapsed. Grain production fell. Animals were slaughtered. Hunger spread. Stalin blamed the farmers. He ordered grain seizures anyway. Nowhere was this more devastating than in Ukraine. Between 1932 and 1933, Stalin imposed impossible grain quotas on Ukrainian villages. Armed brigades searched homes, tore up floors, and confiscated everything edible. Borders were sealed. No escape, no aid. Even picking a few grains from a field became a crime under the law of 5 ears of grain. Children were imprisoned, adults were executed, millions starved, entire villages vanished. Parents ate bark, grass, and leather. Some were driven to cannibalism. Stalin knew. Reports reached his desk daily. He did nothing. Historians estimate that nearly 4 million Ukrainians died. Some say far more. And the terror did not stop there. In 1934, a popular party leader named Sergei Kirov was assassinated under suspicious circumstances. Stalin used the murder as justification to unleash a new wave of repression. The Great Purge began. Between 1936 and 1938, more than 1 million people were arrested. Interrogations involved beatings, starvation, and torture. Confessions were forced. Show trials followed. Judges, prosecutors, and defendants performed scripted roles. Accused men confessed to crimes they never committed. Spies, traitors, saboteurs, they were executed anyway. In 1937 alone, nearly 400,000 people were shot. Stalin even purged his own army. Top generals were arrested and executed, leaving the military crippled just years before war with Nazi Germany. Those not executed were sent to the Gulag. The Gulag system stretched across the Soviet Union, from Siberia to the Arctic. Millions passed through it. Prisoners worked 12 to 16 hours a day in freezing temperatures. Food was minimal. Medical care was non-existent. Failure meant death. In camps like Kolyma, death rates reached nearly 1/3 per year. Women gave birth in camps. Babies died. Families were erased. In 1939, Stalin signed a pact with Adolf Hitler. Publicly, it was a non-aggression treaty. Secretly, it divided Eastern Europe. Poland was invaded from both sides. The Baltic states were annexed. Deportations followed. In 1940, more than 22,000 Polish officers and intellectuals were executed in the Katyn massacre. For decades, Stalin blamed the Nazis. It was a lie. When Hitler invaded the Soviet Union in 1941, Stalin was caught unprepared. He had ignored warnings. He responded with scorched earth policies, burning villages and destroying food supplies, leaving civilians with nothing. He issued Order Number 227, no retreat. Blocking units shot fleeing soldiers. More than 150,000 Soviet troops were executed by their own side. Even victory did not soften him. Entire ethnic groups were deported: Chechens, Ingush, Crimean Tatars. Hundreds of thousands were forced into cattle cars. Many died within a year. After the war, returning prisoners of war were arrested and sent to camps. In 1952, Stalin launched the Doctors' Plot, accusing Jewish doctors of conspiracy. Arrests followed. Fear returned. Then, in March 1953, Stalin collapsed. His guards were too afraid to help him. He died alone. 3 years later, his successor exposed his crimes in a secret speech, but for millions, the truth came too late. Joseph Stalin ruled through terror, and his darkest legacy is not how he died, but how many never lived to see his fall.